Good morning, you guys. How are you? Good? Was your week fantastic? Yes? Okay. I've had a good week so far. And it's Friday, right? So it's only going to get better. I hope you are fine as well. I hope you guys got to have wonderful classes, a wonderful week. How are you feeling these days? Are you feeling more positive, like we're close to getting back together? Are you feeling worried? I think we're now closer than ever, and that's good. That's something to celebrate, right? But have in mind that we still need to take care, right? So be careful, be safe. But I feel like we're getting closer and closer together, and that's awesome. But anyway, today we're going to close this unit on fighting the flu. We have a diary for today that it is a bit more open because I have brought some listening activities for us to carry out together, okay? In the second half. I have an activity planned with a TEDx presentation. I'm sure you guys are familiar by now with those TEDx presentations, right? That they are short but very meaningful. So I have an activity planned with one of those. And I want to have a deal with you guys. For our presentations, for our everyday classes, I do enjoy this format, this live format. It's very forward and we get the message through. But I can't really show videos because whenever I try to show a video, the YouTube strikes us out. And I do have a video planned for today. And one thing that I found out, I'm sure you guys know this better than I do, but I found out that even though you can watch everything on YouTube, there is a person who owns that channel, right? Who owns that channel. And whenever I, on YouTube, present a video from someone else, it's like I am preventing people from going straight to their channels. So for today, what we're going to do is we're going to try to do it the way I planned, which is through a Kahoot, but you have to do the listening first and then answer the questions based on what you listened. I'm going to try to present the TEDx for everybody. But if for some reason they drop us out, then I'm going to share the link. You guys watch the video at home and then we do the activity. Okay? So I have both things planned. For later on, whenever the situation presents itself and I have to present a video to you, then we are going to have our class in a live format, but then we open a space to go on a Meet so that through the Meet we can share the video, okay? Even music videos, we can't do any activities with those because they strike us out. And the English team has really done that a lot, and we have got many classes that were removed from YouTube, so we're not going to try that out anymore. So for a situation like that, we're going to set this up in advance, and then we can just go to Meet just to present the video together, okay? Everything else we can carry out the way we're doing. Did you understand? Okay. But for today, we're not going to go through Meet. Today, I'm going to share the video, and if something happens, then what we're going to do is I'm going to send you the link. You guys watch at home all at once, pretty much, and then we answer the exercises. Okay? Okay. So, today, because this whole unit is about fighting the flu, today we are going to talk about being healthy. Whether you guys make choices that allow you to be healthy, or where you guys really don't care and do everything you want, and then let us pray for the best. Okay? So this is the topic for today. Our team is Tassi, so if you want to ask questions and say something, you tell Tassi, and Henrique is here to help us out with all the technological appliances. Okay? So, first things first, we had some extra exercises, some additional practice, right? Activities. that I want to start with those. Okay? So let's start there, please. So from exercises 1 through 9, even though I think there is a 10, this is from the book, okay? But I'm sure there was an exercise 10, or wasn't it? Whatever. For exercises 1 through 9, choose the best alternative. While doctors are prescribing expensive, you see I can read very well through the distance. While doctors are prescribing expensive drugs that can have devastating side effects to slow the progress of Alzheimer's, new research shows it might be possible to prevent of this cruel disease by something as simple, inexpensive, and safe as a dose of marine oil every day during our younger years. Are you familiar with marine oil? I'm not. But anyway, what's the word that completes that sentence? Unduly, underway, throughout, moist, or onset. Okay, can you guys listen to me? Okay. Guys, I'm going to talk closer to the microphone, okay? Can you listen to me? I'm going to sing you a song. No, I'm not. Just because I don't know how. Can you listen to me better now? Is it good? Let me know. Okay? Anyway, what's the word that best... I'm going to talk louder. In the previous class, I got complaints because I was talking too loud and I was disturbing the other classes. Can you believe it? I don't talk loud. Latin women are famous for being loud. I have a piece of information about that. I'll save it for later. Okay? But anyway, let's complete it. Is it unduly, underway, throughout, moist, or onset? A, B, C, D, or E? Let Tassi know. What's the word that completes paragraph 1? While doctors are prescribing expensive drugs that can have devastating side effects to slow the progress of Alzheimer's, new research shows it might be possible to prevent I'm going to tell you this one just because it's a vocabulary that I'm not sure you guys are aware. Onset. The word there is onset. Onset is the starting point. Okay? Whenever you are going to talk about the starting point of a disease or a situation, you can talk about the onset. So be possible to prevent the onset, the moment it sets in, of this cruel disease by something as simple, inexpensive, and safe as a dose of marine oil every day during our younger years. I don't know what marine oil is. I'm not familiar with that. I don't know if you guys know. Number 2. The ICMR Suffolk study also reported a higher of the illness in urban slums, in those living alone, in those with no schooling, and in those who are unemployed. Males were also reported to have had higher rates of illness. What's the word there? Illness, crowd, sneezing, underway, or prevalence? Now this one's easy. Letter A is impossible to be a choice because a higher illness of the illness, please, right? So it is a higher prevalence of the illness. Where is the illness most found? In slums, in those who live alone, in those with no schooling, in those who are unemployed. Okay? Number 3. Now I'm going to give you seconds to try to answer it to Tassi, okay? So that I can get the responses, okay? So you just have to put A, B, C, D, or E. I had an allergic reaction to seafood in the middle of my trip to the Bahamas, and I had to spend 2 weeks in a hospital room because the air conditioning system was being replaced. That's bad luck. So the hospital room was stuffy, unduly, handkerchief, moist, or crowd. When you don't feel cold, when you feel hot, and when the sensation is of, I don't know, I'm desperate because I don't get air to breathe. What's the word you use there from those ones? Gabi, if you had the word crowded, it would be a possibility, even though crowded is more of the concrete sensation, right? When you have too many people in one place, it is crowded, okay? The word there is really a stuffy. Stuffy as in a place with not enough air going through, okay? We would say abafado, something like that, okay? Number 4. Thank you for answering, girls. 4, next. Henrique. For number 4. In how many hours a day, is that it? In how many hours a day did you do lessons? Said Alice, in a hurry to change the subject. 10 hours the first day, said the Mock Turtle. 9 the next, and so on. What a curious plan, exclaimed Alice. That's the reason they're called lessons, the Gryphon remarked, because they, from day to day. Now this is easy, because the word is there, right? There's the reason they are called lessons. So it's something that takes us to that word, lesson. What is it? Sneezing, stuffy, crowd, cleansed, or lesson? A, B, C, D, or E, you guys? Now, this is from Alice in Wonderland, right? We have Alice, we have the Mock Turtle, we have a little twisted idea behind it, right? A little twisted lesson to be taken from the situation. Excellent, you guys. Lesson, that's it. Even though it's a word play, it's easy to get from the word play, right? Lesson is to decrease. So from the idea the turtle is giving, it says, first I started 10 hours, then I started 9 hours, and so on, 8, 7. So it's lessening the number of hours. And that's why it's called lesson, right? According to the Mock Turtle. Perfect. Now, number 5, Dr. Horowitz. The world leaders got together last week to announce a series of investments to stop the spread of the new flu virus. Dr. Spitz, that's good news. Dr. Horowitz, they hope a solution to the pandemic by the end of the year. Now, this is the structure we were studying, right? The future perfect. They hope a solution to the pandemic by the end of the year. Will found, are found, to be found, will have been found, or have been found. A, B, C, D, or E? This one is easy. You guys know it. What is it? A, B, C, D, or E? I'm waiting. What's the answer? D as in will have been found. Fantastic. Future perfect, right? By the end of the year, something that will have happened before. 6. The president spoke to the nation this morning and affirmed that the imminent pandemic and that those who suffer. So the president spoke to the nation this morning and affirmed that the imminent pandemic and that those who suffer, what? So this is no future perfect, okay, guys? No future perfect. Letter B, let's see. The president spoke to the nation this morning and affirmed that the imminent pandemic will be avoided and that those who suffer will be cured. Cured for the people, right? So it has to be the second one. And the pandemic, to get away from it, will be avoided. Excellent. Okay, very nice. And all, let me see just what other option we have. That from that they manipulate. Yes, well, B works out perfectly. But if I were to say about something that had past, I could also use everything in the past, right? And then letter E would work out as well. The president spoke to the nation this morning and affirmed that the imminent pandemic had been avoided. No, it doesn't work. It has to be letter E. Letter B. Perfect, guys. Will be avoided and will be cured. Excellent. Let's go to number 7. Yes, next, please. You see? Perfect, Harry. Despite all the investments in research and tests, relatively few biotechnological drugs. What is the correct one? Had been approved, had been approving, is approved, will approve, or is being approved. This one's easy. Yes, had been approved. The other ones are dismissed not because of the idea, but because they are grammatically incorrect, right? Had been approving, is approved. You are talking about drugs, so it couldn't be is. Will approve. The drugs don't approve anything. They can be approved, but they don't approve. And is being approved, like something that's happening right now, a continuous tense in this sense, doesn't match. So it's the first one. Very good, guys. Had been approved. 8. The housekeeper. You know housekeeper? The person who works in our houses? It's the housekeeper. The housekeeper came forward and told them it was a picture of a young gentleman, the son of her late master steward, who, by him, at his own expense, he has now gone into the army, she added. But I am afraid he has turned out very wild. What is it? Have you guys seen Pride and Prejudice? It's there. Well, it's a good book, right? But I haven't read the book. I've seen the movie. It's a good movie. Sorry. Anyway, who? Yes, 8. Who brought up, who been brought up, who have been brought up, who had brought up, or had been brought up. Yes. Had been brought up. Perfect. The only indecision there should be between C and E, right? Because you must have a passive voice. But because he is now in the army, we conclude that his bringing up is over. He has already finished being brought up, right? So the correct one had been brought up. Perfect. Letter E, past perfect. And finally, 9. The police reported that the victims had died because of severe adverse reactions to the vaccines, which earlier that day. So the vaccines was administered, will be administered, have been administered, are being administered, or administered. Again? No, not A. A is wrong even because of this structure, right? Was administered. We are talking about vaccines, so it's plural. The correct one? Had been administered. Perfect. Pay attention. It can't be will be because it was earlier, so it has to be past. Are being administered is wrong for the same reason, because it has to be in the past, because it was earlier that day. Letter E is wrong because it's not passive, it's active, right? Vaccines which administered. The vaccines don't administer anything, they are administered. So it can be letter E. So the correct answer is letter C. Perfect. Okay? Next. You see, I told you there was a number 10. And it's from 1 through 9. I knew it. I wasn't crazy. So anyway, good for me, right? Anyway. 10. Complete part of the lyrics of That's Why I Love You by Boyz II Men. You guys don't know Boyz II Men, do you? They are from the 90s. But they have a very famous song that has even a version in Portuguese. But I won't sing it. And I can only remember Leonardo singing it now. So sorry. I can't even remember it in English. But anyway, and this is not the famous song. That's Why I Love You. I don't know this one. When I am crying, you are my, and when it feels like I'm dying, you bring me up with just one kiss. So when I'm crying, you are my damp, stuffy, draft wind, onset, or handkerchief. When I'm crying? No. It could be. It would make sense, but it isn't that one. Because a draft wind is something good, right? Something that makes you feel good. So I do understand. It's letter E, handkerchief. You know what handkerchief is? People don't use handkerchiefs anymore because nowadays we use tissues, right? When you are crying and you want to dry your tears, nowadays we have tissues, right? Those paper tissues, those Kleenex kind of thing. But handkerchief would be the cloth one. You know cloth? The one made from fabric that men in the past would use in their pockets, so that it's a handkerchief. Okay? So the correct one here is handkerchief. No one's using it anymore, but still handkerchief. And nowadays we know that it isn't even something that is hygienically indicated, right? Because it gets dirty and so on. But it is handkerchief. Perfect, guys. So with this, we close this additional exercises. And now we're going to do language in function, in action. Language in. Please, Henrique, next. In action, you guys. Language in action 3. So this is what I was telling you in the beginning of the class, okay? We're going to discuss the things you do to keep healthy. So there is a checklist there. We are first going to go through the checklist, but then I want you guys to add any information on what you do to keep you healthy. Okay? So first, we have the noun health, which you can be in good health or in bad health. And when you are in good health, we say you are healthy. When you are in bad health, we say you are sick. Okay? So what do you do to keep you healthy? First thing, you drink coffee. Often, sometimes, or never. I am not saying that drinking coffee is something that keeps you healthy. But we're just going to judge which of these actions would be good for you or bad for you. So anyway, you drink coffee often, sometimes, or never. Please, just write that to Tassi so that she can tell me. Tassi, they're going to write often, sometimes, or never. Okay? You drink coffee often, sometimes, or never? Sometimes. Never? Really? Never? Sometimes. Okay. Okay. I believe the good reply would be between sometimes or never, right? Mais algum? No? Often. Yeah, okay. Often. Me too. I drink coffee very often. Maybe more than it would be advisable. But teachers generally drink a lot of coffee. It's like a habit we share. So when you go into the teacher's room, everyone is drinking loads of coffee, right? Okay. But I hear... Oh, yes. Yes, for me, it should say always. That's it. Drink soda. Often, sometimes, or never. Is that anyone there that never drinks soda? Agora, agora é porque é outra pergunta, mas a resposta vai ser a mesma, Tassi. Always, oh, sorry. Often, sometimes, or never. Sometimes. Okay. Good guy. Oh my goodness. Excellent. Okay. So I'm going to go through with the other ones faster, okay? You just have to consider there if you do this or not. Eat junk food. Um, it's interesting to notice that maybe 10 years ago, maybe a little more, a junk food place would have nothing healthy. So if you would go to a hamburger place, they would only serve hamburgers and fries and um, anything that would be fried or sweet, right? But nowadays, I think it didn't start completely, but one of the people responsible for this change in attitude was the guy that produced that movie Super Size Me. After that, even McDonald's now offers yogurts and salads, right? So they give you a healthy option in case you want it. So but that's new. That's pretty recent. In the past, you would either go to a healthy place or to a junk food place, right? Anyway, eat fresh fruit. Are you a fruit person? Do you eat fruit as a habit? Like every day, my snack is a fruit, or or is fruit something you relate to dieting? Like when I'm on a diet, me, I don't eat fruit as much as I should, but when I am dieting, then I worry about eating certain pieces of fruit a day and so on. Even though I find some fruit very delicious, I don't eat it as I should. Eat fresh vegetables. You know that people from Ceará are famous for not eating a lot of vegetables. I see that changing a lot, but the typical table, right? The typical meal for a house in Ceará doesn't really convey vegetables. I am not saying in your home or in my home. I'm saying that the typical, like the average. It would have rice, it would have beans, it would have a protein, right? But people are not really into vegetables. We are changing that habit because we now worry more about being healthy, like consciently, but we are not famous for really worrying about having a good vegetable plate within every meal, right? Eat candy. Do you eat a lot of candy? As we grow older, we eat less and less candy, right? Okay, and even at schools, we don't buy candy anymore. When I was a child, we would buy those handfuls of candy. Nowadays, we know that's not healthy, and so schools avoid that. Um, Miss meals. Do you understand to miss meals? You are supposed to have a meal every 3 hours, and you should have a good breakfast. You should have lunch. You should have dinner. And to miss meal is to skip a meal. Like, oh, I usually don't have breakfast, or I usually don't stop to eat lunch, so I miss a meal, right? Even though there is a famous diet now that involves that practice, right? So I think maybe missing meals is becoming more common too. But we know that that's not healthy, especially if you have a growing body. You must keep your meals at a certain rate, right? Don't eat too much, but also don't miss meals. That's important. But I'm no nutritionist, but I believe that's important, especially for people who are still growing up, right? Take vitamins. Do you take vitamins, like as in pills? Or do you just, you have the vitamins from the food you eat? I think when you get older, you start to need these additional vitamins. But when you are young, this is something you shouldn't really worry about. Um, Exercise. Do you exercise? Are you exercising during the quarantine? I started out very nicely, but now that's all behind me. But anyway, do you exercise? It's even good for your immune system, right? They say that your body produces better defenses when you do exercise, when you do wake your body up, right? Sleep less than 8 hours a day. Do you guys sleep well at night? When you are a teenager, you generally sleep more than the average person. Did you know that? Yes. But still, do you get 8 hours sleep a day? That's important and healthy. I've read that there is a tendency for some bodies to need less rest. I don't know whether that's accurate or not, but I've read about that. And get medical checkups. How often do you go to the doctor? How often do you go to the doctor? Not because of you're sick, right? Because going to the doctor when you have a symptom is something, because probably you are only going to have that symptom checked and the reasons involved around that symptom checked, right? But if you have another underlying problem, you won't have it investigated. When you have a checkup, what is the doctor going to do? The doctor is going to search for possible problems. So he will see you in a whole, right? Your entire body, an organism. So it's important to have checkups. Do you go to the doctor for checkups, or do you only go to the doctor to see a specific symptom? Okay? So consider those questions. And this one I want you to answer. Are there any habits you would like to change? Considering this list and whatever you thought about throughout discussing being healthy, are there any habits you would like to change about yourself? Please let me know. Type it in. I would like to exercise more often, to keep a routine of exercises. And I would like to eat more fruit, like naturally. Not because I have it set in my mind that now is the time for a fruit, but just for the pleasure of enjoying an apple. That's something I would like to change. Tassi, alguém escreveu alguma coisa? Eles devem escrever os hábitos que eles querem mudar. Any habits you would like to change about yourself? I'm waiting. Would you like to drink less soda, eat less candy, exercise more? I'm going to read it. I'd like to do more exercises again. Checkup is very important. Manu, I'm reading it. I'm reading it. Okay, yes, I'm not young. Okay, so I'd like to do more exercises again. I'd like to sleep more, Gabriel. Okay. I'd like to sleep more and exercise more too. Gabi, how many hours would you say you sleep at night? Gabriel, you too. How long do you sleep at night? Vinicius, more exercises. Perfect. Do more exercises, eat more fruit, sleep more. Okay, Thais. Emmanuel, I am waiting for your answer. 6 or 7. Okay, Gabi. Yeah, you should sleep more. I'd like the same as Gabi. What? Okay, sleep more. Pedro, how long do you say you sleep at night? And eat more fruit too? Yes, very nice. Anything else? I am waiting. Okay, Manu. I'm kidding, girl. Don't worry. I'm kidding. Don't worry, that's fine. Eat fresh vegetables. Okay, Inês. 6 hours, yes, Pedro, you should sleep some more. Especially if you feel you need more sleep, right? Like I was saying, I have read somewhere that some people naturally feel the need for less sleep. But Well, I'm not a professional, I don't know for sure, but I think that if you feel you're tired, then you should be getting more sleep. Okay? Thank you guys. Thank you for participating. Manu, I'm kidding. Okay, excellent. So let's move on. Henrique, next. Okay. So anyway, talking about health, and as I promised, we're going to do some listening exercises today. You have number 2. Below you will find different medical problems. What do you do when you have these problems? Talk to a classmate so you guys can talk among yourselves. A headache, the flu, food poisoning, a cut finger, a mosquito bite, a stomachache, the hiccups, or travel sickness. Now I just want to stop to explain some of these vocabulary, okay? A headache is a very typical word, I'm sure you all know. Oh, I'm sorry. It's page 995, I suppose. Tassi, quais são as páginas da aula de hoje na agenda aí? É a segunda página da nossa agenda de hoje. Deixa eu só... So it's page 97. Okay? Just confirm that you found it. But it's page 97. It's Language in Action 3. Unit 6. Okay? But anyway, let me just take a moment to talk about some specific vocabulary there. First, food poisoning. Poisoning in Portuguese sounds like a heavy word, right? Like something that people would do on purpose, like to put poison on food. But food poisoning is the expression we use for food intoxication in Portuguese, right? So it's not necessarily poisoning because there is poison in it. It's whenever you eat something that is outdated, that has expired, that has gone through some bad change. We say when you eat rotten food, then whatever feeling you have after that is considered food poisoning. Okay? For us, we say intoxicação alimentar. So it's food poisoning. Okay? It's the general term. Intoxication is also understood, but food poisoning is the term, the general term. Okay? A cut finger, a mosquito bite, a simple stomachache, the hiccups. I don't know if you know what the hiccups are, but when for some reason you start doing this every now and then, as I think of it, I haven't had the hiccups for a long time now. That's interesting. I never understood why we get the hiccups. But I do know that some people say that you should drink water without breathing, or maybe have a scare, and it works. Generally, it works. Drinking water without breathing for like 7 sips or more generally works out for me. But as I stop to think about it, I don't remember having the hiccups in a long time now. That's awesome. But anyway, so the hiccups, I hope you guys understand what it is. And travel sickness is when you get car sick. And generally the term you use in English is car sickness, which is whenever you are it generally happens in cars. Some people have boat sickness. Some people have car sickness when they are on a train. But it's whenever you are in a vehicle in motion and it gives you a sense of being sick in your stomach and wanting to throw up. Do you know that? Yeah? The general term is car sickness, but you can also call travel sickness. So some people have car sickness when they are in the car, but they don't have it when they are driving. When they point their attention towards a focus point, then they don't feel car sickness. Some people take pills for that, right? I know Dramin is a very famous one people take for car sickness. I know some people that sometimes have car sickness, sometimes they don't, and they don't know when they do it and when they have it or not. I know some people that get really sick. And recently, not recently, but a while ago, I learned about some bracelets that you put in your arm, and then for pure magic, you wouldn't have car sickness. Do you guys know? about these bracelets? Have you ever worn it? Or have you heard about it? At first, I didn't really believe in those. I felt like, this is a placebo, right? But I have a friend who wears them, and she says it's a miracle thing. She doesn't understand how it works, but she says it's perfect for her. When she's wearing those, she doesn't feel car sickness. So, that's it. I don't really have car sickness. So, but anyway, but I have boat sickness. When I travel on boats, I do get sick. Anyway, so these are the situations we have here, right? I would say the headache is the most common one. The mosquito bites in our scenario. But anyway, any questions on the vocabulary? Alguma dúvida aí, Tassi, no vocabulário? Alguma pergunta? Deixa eu ver. Ok. É a contração. Ok, girl! Já claro, tem que ajeitar a respiração. Por isso que falam de parar de respirar ou beber água, porque na hora que você está engolindo, não respira. Ok. Gabi, hiccups is the pronunciation, ok? Ok. Manu! Thank you. Perfect. That's it. We pronounce the hiccups, okay? And yeah, so Lorena, go look for those. There are some bracelets. I don't understand the science behind the bracelets, and they look like those plastic bracelets that people use now with, I don't know, those Apple, no, not the Apple Watch, right? But those bracelets like plastic, you know what I'm talking about. And they have some for car sickness. And I hear they are miracle working, but I don't understand the science behind them. Okay? Okay, you guys. So we're going to stop now for our break, and then when we get back, we're going to listen to those dialogues, okay? And after listening to the dialogues, we're going to do a couple more listening activities, and like I said, I'm hoping for the best, but if it doesn't work, you guys are going to look for the presentation on your own, the video, and then you watch the video at your own devices. I just remembered the song. At your own devices, and then we do the activity together. Okay? Thank you. Go drink some coffee. No, go have some water. Bye-bye.